people think that you can be let go at any time during probation without any notice or compensation. But that's not entirely accurate, because for that to hold true, you actually need very clear contractual language. And it turns out that a lot of employers get that wrong. And if there's even the slightest mistake in your probation clause, it gets knocked out, and that means you're entitled to common law notice, which, like we've been talking about the last few days, means anywhere from a few weeks to a few months compensation. So there's a bunch of ways that probation clauses can get knocked out, but here are a couple of them that I want you to look out for. See, depending on the jurisdiction that you're in, there's a certain threshold after which you're guaranteed some notice or pay in lieu of that notice if you're ever let go during that probation period. Now, a common mistake that you might find in a probation clause is that that threshold isn't acknowledged at all. And so let's say that you're made to work a 6-month probationary period and it says you don't get any pay, but you're in a province like Ontario where the 3-month threshold should be acknowledged, then that whole thing gets booted. Now, another case is that the contract talks about a threshold, but it's slightly incorrect. And the thing is, you can get really picky here. So for instance, if your threshold is a 3-month period, but the contract talks about 90 days, those aren't the same thing, because 3 months don't always add up to 90 days. Another one is if your threshold is 3 or more months, but the contract talks about more than 3 months, those aren't the same thing, because you're off by at least a day there. So keep an eye out for those two mistakes, because wherever that kind of mistake happens, the whole thing gets booted and you're entitled to common law notice if you're ever let go.